In just 3 short years, Paddle 8, an innovative marketplace infusing technology and art, has held hundreds of auctions with over 100 million in bidding activity and raising over 25 million for charities. They've quickly expanded their reach with members and bidders from hundreds of countries, and they're setting records with their most expensive work, a Jeff Koons sculpture selling for over $900,000. With over 50 employees worldwide and offices in New York, LA, and London, they've raised over 17 million in venture capital funding. I'm here today to talk to CEO and co-founder Adi Julka about what it takes to launch a successful startup. It seems everyone is talking about Paddle 8, from the Wall Street Journal to W Magazine to Bloomberg TV. Do you just want to tell us a little bit about your story and your journey?
I was born in India. I grew up in India for most of my life, moved to New York. I was looking for what to do next and ended up meeting my co-founder Alexander purely because I was trying to buy some art and I had no idea where to start. Alex, on the other hand, had been in the art world and had seen how technology could change and how technology was changing the auction room. And he gave me a counter proposal, which was, rather than selling you art, how about you help me start a company and we change the art world together. So that was very hard to walk away from.
Can you tell us about Paddle 8?
As you walk in, you get a paddle number, just like you would in other auctions. You swipe your card with us, we give you a paddle number. And then these iPad kiosks are across the entire room, they're on tables. You can browse the entire auction on this iPad screen. All you need is to put a bid is to click this, put in the bid you want to do, and then put in the actual pin number or the paddle number that you've been given.
Okay.
And then that bid will get submitted against anyone else in the whole world who might want to bid against you in the same event.
Oh, amazing. You're funded by some amazing companies, Moose Partners, as well as the Founder Collective, who back BuzzFeed and Uber. Can you tell us what traits you look for in collaborators?
We wanted to work with investors who have the patience to let us build a great company. Not just a company that you'll flip overnight, but a company that will stand the test of time, that will be a standalone auction house. And that really, hopefully, will be a model for how auctions are held going forward.
And you have some amazing investors, the Mellon family to artist Damien Hirst. How do you get others to really rally around your vision, especially when you're a startup?
I think the auction world hasn't changed in hundreds of years. The art world sort of has sort of evolved. That combined with the fact that we were able to put together a stellar team very quickly, get some traction, and had such a strong charitable mission associated with it, made us even more attractive to these investors.
Do you think disruption leads to innovation, or do you think using creativity kind of leads to new ways of doing things and it's good for the marketplace?
I think what we are trying to do is to use technology to make the art world more efficient, particularly the auction market. And I think we see ourselves strongly as a complement to Sotheby's and Christie's, which are working at the higher end of the market. So rather than disrupting, I think we're complementing and expanding the art world, which is at least how we see it.
And you've been in business for 3 short years, and it already seems that you've changed course. Do you think adaptability and flexibility are mandatory for startups?
So we started with gallery listings, that was our initial plan. And meanwhile, we had experimented with benefit auctions, which seemed to be really successful and seemed to get us a lot of brand credibility as well as actually helping the community. So that's how we decided that we should shift the business to focus more on auctions.
And how do you view failure as part of a startup?
It's a great question, and I think one of the great things about being an entrepreneur today is that it is completely accepted to fail. And I think that makes it so much easier for people to take risks and to start companies. So I think we totally expect failures, we totally accept failures, but at the same time, with the thought behind what is your plan B, what is your exit route, and what happens if the data comes out in a different way than what you had anticipated.
It seems that creativity and innovation are the recipes for success with any startup or any creative industry. How important do you think those 2 traits are to a startup?
When you're starting a company, you need the kind of people who can go into a jungle with their machete and sort of find the way and cut through the jungle, cut through the bush. As you grow a little more, you need people who can then identify a little dirt road and sort of go on that road, but at the same time be willing to sort of go around the little potholes that come up or the big potholes that come up and course correct as things change. As you get even bigger, you need people who are willing to drive on the highway and who can sort of keep their heads down and make sure you deliver on the mission. But at the same time, when you have that, you need to make sure that the people who were finding the way in the jungle are still around to keep seeing forward, to keep sort of imagining where the next highway could be.
I heard once that someone would rather have an amazing team who can execute versus an amazing idea. Do you feel the same way?
Absolutely. I think if you have an amazing team, the idea will evolve 100 times anyway. And I think the part of having an amazing team is the wherewithal and the experience to see what works and what doesn't work, and to adapt the idea so it truly fits the market, so you have the best sort of combination of both. So I would pick a great team over a great idea any day.
What advice would you offer entrepreneurs starting out today?
I don't think at any time in history, and maybe this is said in every generation, has it been easier to start a company. Today, you can be sitting anywhere in the world and start an online company for less than $100,000. That is extraordinary. And the internet allows you to sort of reach customers across the world very quickly, scale, hire people, work collaboratively with people, and test out your idea in a very short period of time. I think a lot of people say that the internet tech revolution is over, or sort of it's nearing its end. I feel it's just beginning, and there's so many opportunities yet to be discovered. So I think for anyone who has an idea, who thinks they want to try it out, my advice would be just go for it. There's no other time like today where sort of you can put it all together, get funded really easily, and test out your idea in a really short period of time globally. So that would be sort of my advice.
Thanks so much for inviting us here today, Adi.
Thank you for having us on the program.